Welcome to Triple Cities Metal Finishing. Before you get started here at TCMF, I would like to walk you through a brief training on our company and our policies. Before we hit the ground running, it is important to bring you up to speed on the current policies and procedures that we employ here. Welcome to our new employee orientation. This training will include the following: our company history, an overview of our processes, shift information, what is expected of you as an employee, safety protocols, emergency information, quality, documentation, handling and preservation, and some contact information that may be useful in the future. In 1945, Triple Cities Metal Finishing was established. In the early years, we had two locations, one in Hillcrest, New York, and the other in Elmira, New York. In 1999, the decision was made to combine the two facilities into a single entity. That brought us to our current 125,000 square foot location here in Cookwood, New York. Initially, we only used half of the facility. 75 years after we first opened our doors, Triple Cities Metal Finishing is operating at full capacity in both aerospace and commercial applications. Our commitment to quality became the forefront of the business back in 1994 when we became an ISO certified entity. Since then, our quality system has grown to include an ITAR registration, NADCAP accreditation, and most recently, an AS 9100 certification. In 2016, the owners of TCMF purchased the assets of C.H. Thompson and formed C.H. Thompson Finishing, Inc. C.H. Thompson Finishing, Inc. is located in downtown Binghamton and specializes in anodizing, paint, powder coating, and screen printing. TCMF has multiple processes under one roof, which are broken out into two main groups: plating and finishing, and paint and powder coat. We are continually adding processes and staying on the cutting edge of green technologies in metal finishing. Plating and finishing could be anodize, hard coat anodize, black oxide, chemical film, copper, electropolish, electroless nickel, bright nickel, Wood's nickel strike, passivation, phosphating, sandblasting, stroke sanding, tin, vibratory, zinc, or zinc nickel. Our company is governed by ITAR, AS 9100, and NADCAP. The definition of governing bodies is a group of people who draw up the rules that govern the actions and the conduct of a body and who ensure that these rules are followed. Governing bodies are defined as ITAR, International Traffic of Arms Regulation, third party; AS 9100, International Quality Management System standard for the aviation, space, and defense industry, third party; NADCAP, National Aerospace and Defense Contractors Accreditation Program, third party. The 30-minute overlap between shifts should be the most productive time of the day. Both shifts are expected to work together, tie off on where work and process is at, discuss any issues that happen during the shift, and share the updated schedule. Employees starting their shift should complete any startup paperwork and take over the main processing as soon as possible. The employees ending their shift clean their work area and are expected to continue working through the end of their shift. Employees are not permitted to spend time in break areas, at lockers, or waiting by the time clocks. Workplace expectations. At TCMF, we uphold a zero-tolerance policy towards any form of harassment in the workplace. Workplace harassment encompasses unwelcome words or actions that are either known or should be known to be offensive, embarrassing, humiliating, or demeaning to an individual or group of individuals. It can also manifest as behavior that intimidates, isolates, or discriminates against targeted individuals. If you witness any form of harassment within the workplace and perceive that an individual is uncomfortable, we urge you to promptly report it to your supervisor or manager. Moreover, Ethical treatment of your coworkers is not just encouraged, it is expected. If you encounter any issues or simply need someone to talk to, please feel free to reach out to your supervisor, manager, and/or the president for discussion and resolution. Above all, remember to always treat others with respect and kindness. By upholding these standards, we foster a positive and inclusive work environment for everyone. Warehouse safety reminders. Proper lifting techniques. Always use proper lifting techniques, including bending at the knees, keeping the load close to your body, and lifting with your legs rather than your back to prevent injuries. Clear pathways. Keep pathways clear of obstructions, debris, and spills to prevent trips, slips, and falls. Equipment safety. Own warehouse equipment if you are trained and authorized to do so. Inspect equipment before use and report any defects or malfunctions immediately. E-stops are for emergencies only, not to stall the line. Fire safety, eye wash, and showers. Familiarize yourself with the location of fire extinguishers, emergency exits, evacuation routes, eye washes, and shower stations. Housekeeping guidelines. Maintaining a clean and organized work environment is crucial to ensuring safety, efficiency, and professionalism. Here are some of our essential housekeeping guidelines we expect staff to follow. Maintain good housekeeping. Keep your work area clean and tidy at all times. No uncovered drinks or food in the production area. To maintain hygiene standards, uncovered drinks or food are strictly prohibited in the production area. Use garbage cans properly. Please utilize garbage cans for waste disposal. The use of drums for garbage is not. Dispose of cigarette butts properly. If smoking areas, ensure cigarette butts are properly disposed of in the designated receptacles. Let's keep our workplace clean and free from litter. Respect shared workspaces. If sharing a workspace with a colleague, be considerate and keep the area clean and organized. End of shift cleanup. Before leaving at the end of your shift, ensure your work area is thoroughly cleaned and organized for the next user. Key reminders for workplace success. As you navigate your role at TCMF, here are some important reminders to keep in mind. Stay busy and productive. Always strive to keep yourself occupied with productive tasks. If you find yourself with nothing to do, don't hesitate to seek guidance from a manager. Use common sense. Trust your instincts and exercise good judgment in all situations. If something appears unusual or unclear, don't hesitate to ask questions. It's better to seek clarification than to risk making mistakes. Review documentation thoroughly. Take the time to review all documentation for completeness and accuracy. Attention to detail is essential in ensuring the quality and integrity of our work. By adhering to these key reminders, you contribute to a positive and efficient work environment for yourself and your colleagues. Commitment to safety. Safety is the most important aspect of our business. TCMF management is committed to the safety and well-being of all employees. Job-specific personal protective equipment will be readily available and required. Safety glasses are to be worn at all times while on the production floor. All chemicals utilized are to be labeled. Safety data sheets are readily available. Anyone handling hazardous materials is to receive proper training prior to doing so. Annual air and noise tests are conducted, and safe operation of equipment and training. Injury reporting. Any work-related injuries, no matter how small, must be reported to management immediately. Reporting a work-related injury to your coworker is not an acceptable form of reporting. Management will evaluate the injury and take the proper steps to ensure the injury is treated appropriately. Depending on the severity, an accident report may be required. There will be a root cause analysis of all injuries to develop immediate corrective actions. If you see something, say something. Safety is everyone's responsibility. Always follow safe work procedures, including wearing personal protective equipment. Only perform tasks in which you are trained. If you are unsure, ask your manager for guidance. Report all safety hazards and concerns to your manager or HR. In the event of an actual fire emergency, specific procedures are to be followed. The primary responsibility of management is the prompt, safe evacuation of all personnel. Notice of the evacuation will be broadcast over the intercom system and repeated 3 times. Employees must follow the below procedure. Go immediately to the nearest exit, the west parking lot for those in anodized masking and powder, and east parking lot for those in paint, inspection, and screening, in a safe and orderly manner. Walk, do not run. Do not stop to collect personal belongings. Once you are safely out of the building, stay in the designated area and wait for further instruction. Do not re-enter until you have received authorization to do so. Prevention and detection of fraudulent activity and counterfeit parts. What is counterfeit work? Counterfeit work means work that is or contains unlawful or unauthorized reproductions, substitutions, or alterations that have been knowingly mismarked, misidentified, or otherwise misrepresented to be an authentic, unmodified part from the original manufacturer, or a source with the express written authority of the original manufacturer or current design activity, including an authorized aftermarket manufacturer. Unlawful or unauthorized substitution includes used work represented as new, or the false identification of grade, serial number, lot number, date code, or performance characteristics. Ways to identify fraudulent and counterfeit parts. Inspection. Review logos, branding, markings, and overall appearance of product, packaging, and certificates to ensure there are no unusual words, misspellings, incorrect bath or serial numbers, or other major notable differences. If you suspect fraud or counterfeit material, immediately report it to your manager and/or quality. Testing and reporting. Potentially fraudulent or counterfeit material will be quarantined in the hold cage and clearly labeled as suspected counterfeit. Records will be gathered and a thorough investigation will be conducted by the Director of Quality. Details from the investigation will be shared with the proper authorities. Use of acceptable authority media. Individually assigned door access badges will be provided to enter the building. Building access is job specific, denying employees access to restricted or unauthorized areas. This also prevents non-employees from entering the building or introducing potential counterfeit products into the facility. Lost or stolen badges should be immediately reported to management. Employees should never use their personal badge to let coworkers or visitors enter the buildings. Doing so will result in immediate termination of employment. Individually assigned codes will be provided to track through the ERP system. ERP security authorization is tiered and access is based on appropriate training levels. Additionally, there are checkpoints, inspection steps throughout the process to verify compliance. There is multi-factor authorization on computers, emails, and shared drives. This reroutes suspicious emails to quarantine, which is monitored by our IT. Personal passwords and login information should never be shared. Quality policy. We are committed to customer success through high first pass yield, flexibility, and continuous improvement. Our commitment to quality extends beyond the quality of finished goods. Our quality team leads the company in day-to-day operations with a strong focus on customer requirements and conformance to aerospace, military, and commercial specifications. The TCMF Quality Management System is a collection of business processes focused on consistently meeting customer requirements and enhancing their satisfaction. It is aligned with our organization's purpose and strategic direction. Our quality system emphasizes our continued improvement as an organization. The TCMF quality system is managed in accordance with the AS 9100 Rev D Quality Management System standard for the aerospace industry. International Traffic of Arms Regulations. Registered since 2012. Government rules that control the export and import of defense-related articles. ITAR violations can be harmful to national security and foreign policy of the United States. Civil and criminal penalties, as well as other costs, such as, but not limited to, negative impact on company reputation, revocation, rejection of export licenses. An example of ITAR restriction is the use of personal cell phones, picture-taking devices, while conducting work tasks on the production floor. Certifications. ISO 9001:2015 and AS 9100D. Certified since 2018. Quality management system for the aerospace industry. Derived from the Society of Automotive Engineers and the European Association Industries. Annual in-person audit. Accreditation. National Aerospace and Defense Contractors Accreditation Program. Accredited since 2007. Industry-managed approach to conformity assessment of special processes. Annual in-person audit is conducted to maintain accreditation. Quality documentation practices. All process documentation shall be completed in its entirety. Errors on documentation shall be corrected with a single line through the mistake with your initials and the date next to it. Never make changes to processes or printed instructions. If you notice an error in the process or the purchase order does not match the paperwork you have been given, immediately report it to management. If a nonconformance or issue does occur during the process, contact your manager immediately. Job identification. Every purchase order will be issued a job card. Every job card must stay with materials throughout the entire process. If there are multiple pallets, boxes, or containers, they should be labeled with the TCMF order number. Job cards should be read in their entirety to ensure that all job instructions are followed. It is everyone's responsibility to ensure that the paperwork matches the part being handled. You can do this by comparing the part to the photo on the job card. If you do not have paperwork, do not proceed with processing the part under any circumstance. Contact your manager immediately. All parts must always be identified and verified. Additional training will be provided regarding the job card routers and how to use Visual Shop for job tracking. Racking procedures. Proper racking procedures are essential to product quality. With over 22 types of racks utilized at TCMF, it's important to familiarize yourself with the specific racking instructions associated with each type. Racking instructions can be found on job cards, and it is imperative that they are adhered to without exception. If you have any doubts or uncertainties about how a job should be racked, don't hesitate to consult your line lead or a manager for guidance. Treat all parts with the utmost care to prevent damage and ensure product integrity. Familiarize yourself with the racking requirements specific to your production line, including factors such as electrical contact requirements, sensitivity or delicacy of the part, material composition of the part, preventing cupping or air pockets during racking. Process documentation. Startup sheets serve as a vital monitoring activity for TCMF. It is mandatory for operators to complete a startup sheet at the beginning of each shift. By doing so, it ensures that all equipment meets specified criteria before commencing work. Even if tanks are already running, a startup sheet must be completed at the beginning of a new shift. All completed startup sheets must be approved by managers, indicated by their signature and date to verify compliance with operational standards. If a startup sheet is not available, please contact your manager. Product safety. All products should be handled with care and safety in mind. Treat all parts as if they were your own. Do not double stack pallets. For any questions pertaining to the safety or handling of materials, please speak with your manager. Packing procedures. Parts shall be packed per the work instructions on the job card or process sheet. If no specific instructions are listed, it is TCMF's policy to package parts the way they were received. Understand the parts on their destination. Are the parts rack plated? If so, assume no part-to-part contact unless otherwise stated by the manager. Do the parts go out common carrier? If so, they must be packaged to protect them from additional handling. Training. All employees at the time of their initial hire date will be introduced to each element in the hazardous communication plan. Lab personnel, process operators, and maintenance personnel will receive additional on-the-job training from their supervisor. This includes training on chemical usage, safe handling, and personal protective equipment. The job function being performed will determine the personal protective equipment that is required. Labeling. Our chemistry lab, under the direction of Chris and Cole, is responsible for labeling all chemicals when they arrive at our facility and the labeling of all process tanks. All chemicals we receive from our suppliers have labels affixed to the containers indicating the chemical name and the severity of the material, from minimal to severe, is marked for fire hazard, health hazard, and reactivity. The lab will also have personal protection key for what is required when handling or working with each chemical. Safety data sheets. Safety data sheets provide hazardous chemical information. Our chemistry lab is responsible for obtaining and maintaining all safety data sheets. SDS are filed alphabetically and by chemical name. SDSs are updated if a new chemical is added or an SDS is revised. SDSs can also be found throughout the facility, labeled for easy access. SDS, where to look. Section 1, Identification. Identifying information about the material. Section 2, Hazard Identification. Details of the material's hazards and basic safety instructions. Section 4, First Aid Measures. First aid and medical response to exposure. Section 6, Accidental Release Measures, responding to a spill or leak. TCMF, we are committed to quality. Part of our quality system is organizational awareness. This slide will provide you with contact information for the responsible parties and specific roles. This information will help steer you in the right direction should a concern or question arise. If you are unsure whom to contact, always reach out to your supervisor or a manager on duty. Thank you so much. We look forward to working together and welcome any questions that you may have.